Hello everyone and welcome to my review of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. It's a big game and there's truly a lot to unbox. There's a gazillion characters, a gazillion stages, a gazillion items, there's a whole lot of everything. I will warn you that my review of this game will not be nearly as qualified as one of my Mario Kart reviews, for example, because I'm not really as much of a veteran of the Smash series. So as such, there's so much in this game and it's a bit overwhelming. But honestly, the overwhelmingness is worth it because there is so much to go into. There's so much depth. So let's do it. Let's review this game. So as I often begin these reviews, let's talk about the character roster. And boy, is there a lot to dive into here. There's well over 70 characters, so there is tons of depth and tons of different playing styles. It's well known that every character that had ever been in a previous Smash game makes its mighty return here, which is really cool. This would honestly be awesome if they did this for Mario Kart as well. It would mean that some throwaway characters would be on the roster, but it sure would be interesting to see some characters we haven't seen in a while, like Funky Kong. So that's kind of off topic, but it seriously is cool and slightly overwhelming to see so many characters from so many different franchises. Of course, there's plenty of new faces as well, like Inkling, King K. Rool, Ridley, Simon Belmont, and Richter. I think I already ragged on this game enough for not having Waluigi in it, so I'll be a little bit more simple here. I'm upset that Waluigi is not included. If you want more of a rant, feel free to watch my good thing, bad thing video for this game. Even though I disrespected him by not including Waluigi, I can't help but give this roster an A-. No, Waluigi is literally the only flaw. There are so many characters here, it's honestly incredible, which only makes it more upsetting that there's no Waluigi, but I'm done talking about it. I promise you this time, I am done. Now let's talk about what's probably my favorite part of this game, the music/sound effects. If you thought there was a lot of depth in the character selection and stage selection, it gets even better with the music. There is damn near 1,000 tracks to choose from when you're battling, and even better, you can make playlists of them. Whenever I go on a long car or a long bus ride and I just need to sit back and relax, I can always turn on the Switch and listen to that remix of Waluigi Pinball and other songs. The fact that you can select multiple tracks for each stage is also really awesome, and it's another thing I want to see incorporated into the Mario Kart series. The sound effects are just as awesome in this game. All the characters sound cool. Except for Ness, he really gets on my nerves. But every other character I'm okay with. What's even better is that they brought back my boy Xander Mobus as the announcer. After doing a fine job with the announcing in Super Smash Bros. On the Wii U, he is back here and I love this man's voice. And I love to impersonate it no matter how poor of a job I do. Stock battle! Victory! Link! Okay, I'll shut up. The music and the sound effects get an A+. I would say it's perfection, but the amount of music really makes it go beyond perfection. So wouldn't that mean it's an A++? Well, Ness brings it back down to a regular old A+. What else can I say? Now let's get into good old graphics. They're pretty freaking amazing in this game as well. A video from GameXplain shows that Ultimate did a much better job of crossing the HD threshold than Smash on the Wii U did, which makes the fact that this game is actually 100% portable all the more impressive. We get HD Smash completely on the go, so in other words, life is good. The details in this game aren't a hugely vast improvement from the Wii U, but it's definitely at least noticeable when you compare. And trust me, on stages like New Donk City Hall, the graphics are much appreciated. It's a beautiful game all around and it gets another A+ from me. Okay, so now it's time to talk a little bit about controls. This game controls fairly well for the complex sets of moves that each character has. However, I find that it can be quite challenging for me to play with just a single Joy-Con, as I often accidentally press stuff in the heat of a battle. And trust me, I don't intend to take a screenshot or even more annoying, go to the home menu when I'm battling someone. That's more of a Switch problem than a Smash Ultimate problem though. This game once again allows you to use the famed GameCube controller, and honestly that's what I want for my birthday next week. I've used a GameCube controller before and it feels way better than just a single Joy-Con. Now this game does of course allow you to customize the way the controls work, and honestly now that I'm thinking about controls, I might customize the jump to not be pressing up on the control stick. I don't know why it defaults to that. It feels a lot better when you just tap a button. I'm used to that from Mario at least, so I'm going to try that out and report back to you eventually. But as of now, I give the controls a B. With the GameCube controller, it goes up to at least an A- though, so yeah. Okay, so let's get to the most important part of the game, which would be gameplay. With such a wide variety of characters to choose from in Smash Ultimate, you have a lot of different gameplay styles to consider. How fast is the character? How much does the character weigh? How good is its recovery? How powerful are their moves? While tier lists exist and there's pretty undeniably some characters being better than some others, each character usually has their strengths and weaknesses. Personally, the character I started out with was Little Mac, but I soon went on to realize that his weaknesses were pretty freaking weak. His recovery was terrible, and he would always get sent flying off the board. My current main is Link, who's a lot more balanced and a lot harder to knock off. Actually, fighting in this game is pretty interesting, and Smash is unlike any other fighting game you'll play because of the presence of percentages. I told this story of my newbiness in the Good Thing Bad Thing video, but it bears mentioning again. When I first played Smash Bros. A few years back, I thought the higher percentage meant you were doing better. I soon learned I was wrong, but I still think it could be a little bit confusing to newer players. Still, you can definitely get used to the system eventually. There's, of course, the time battles where you're timed and whoever has the better record towards the end wins, and stock battles where it's basically like a best of 3 or a best of 5 depending on how many stocks you choose. And stock battles are definitely my preference. If you're having a bad battle in time battle, you know you're toast towards the end. But with stock battle, you can always cling on to that hope of still having one stock left. At least that's how that works for me psychologically. There are, of course, items in Smash, but honestly, I haven't really played with items a lot. I think it overcomplicates the game a bit. But maybe I'll start to experiment with more items that I do find that I like, and maybe I'll do a top 11 list of that somewhere down the line. Anyway, we can't get into gameplay without getting into the many stages that you'll be playing the games on. And I think I realized part of why I was so overwhelmed with playing this game at first. You don't even need to unlock any stages from the start. You get the 100 or so stages staring at you right away. IGN described it as a grid of barely discernible pictures, and I couldn't have said that better myself. Perhaps in the future, a Smash game could make a drop-down menu for each franchise's stages. You get like one for all the Mario stages, the Zelda stages, etc. That would make the menu a lot less overwhelming, that's for sure. Still, it should be said that the vast majority of the stages were made with love, and discounting some clunkers like Palutena's Temple and Pac-Land, this game was full of fun, interactive stages that made this game a blast to play. Now, I know there's more to talk about with the gameplay, but as you've seen, this video is a few days late. I ain't got all day to talk about this. I will talk more about my additional thoughts about this game in the future, I promise. But for now, I give the gameplay an A-. Some minor flaws here and there, but overall it's very polished. So I give this game a grade of A-. It's one of the most depth-filled games on the Switch, and it will inevitably keep me busy for hours on end in the future. With all the characters, stages, music, etc., it will constantly keep me experimenting. The minor flaws are masked by an overall very satisfying game.